command a great and terrible army. We will sail to 1 billion worlds until every light has been extinguished.
What is up, everybody? STARSKREAM here, and man, it has been a long weekend. I pulled a 10-hour and 12-hour shift on Saturday and Sunday, respectively. I had planned to make this video on those days, but work sometimes calls. Now, I did say that, hey, there's no way that I'm going in on Monday, so here we are, and today, I'm just gonna be kicking it. Yeah, I got some Scream juice. The sun is out, the birds and the bees are out. I'm just going to chill and I'm gonna kick it, and we're gonna make some videos. I'm gonna be streaming. It's gonna be a great day. Now, I am, as you can see, making a tier list video, and this tier list video is going to be a little bit different because it seems like Dungeon Boss either watched my last video and decided, okay, fine, we will get our heads out of our and just make something happen, or it's just happens to be coincidence that they decided to run a Grand Guild Tourney. But nonetheless, I'm very happy that there is one. That said, Dungeon Boss, if you are watching this, I'm hoping that you start watching my videos. Maybe, I don't know if you have in the past, or if you just started, or maybe you will never watch one of my videos again because of the last one. But if you are watching, please give us more than 4 or 5 days notice beforehand so that we can arrange our guilds and tell people, hey, there's a Grand Guild Tourney coming up, so people can be like, oh my god, I can't do a PvP, I gotta get out of here, right? But nonetheless, like I said, I'm very happy that there's gonna be one. So what I'm gonna do for this particular tier list is I'm gonna gear it, I'm gonna make it a lot simpler, you're gonna see in a second here, and I'm gonna gear it just towards the Grand Guild Tourney. Right, so you're gonna see in a second here, I'm gonna break it down. As you all know, I have done videos for Grand Guild Tourney in the past. You can look those up. They're still somewhat relevant. The teams are somewhat relevant. I'm not gonna go into an exact team list this time because it just takes so much time to make those videos, but I am gonna be streaming all throughout the Grand Guild Tourney, and I'm gonna be streaming today and tomorrow. What I wanna focus on is just to make sure that you guys understand that, like, Grand Guild Tourney is a little bit different than a normal PvP event or like a normal PvP season, in that the main goal is to be running as efficiently as possible, as fast as possible. Losses don't matter that much. I mean, you're limited by the number of tickets you have or that you can buy, right? So like, you want to be using a specific subset of heroes, and you want to get your teams ready before guild games so that like you can like get going as fast as possible. So like I said, in this tier list, that's mostly what we're going to focus on. So let's get right into it. So as you can see here, our structure for this tier list is a little bit different. I've got S, A, B, F, and then Ultra F in the chat. You feel me? So Ultra F in the chat means like, please don't take off your runes for all these heroes if you need to, right? The lower your hero power, or roster power, by the way, the easier opponents you're going to get in PvP. So it might behoove you to remove runes from heroes that you're not using. But moving on, Ultra F is just like the worst heroes in the game. Don't focus on them at all. F are heroes that like really, unless you're like level 30 or 40 and you don't have any other heroes available to you, don't use these heroes. B are heroes that like, if you need to, and like you have them really start up, let's say like you're still developing your roster quite a bit, and like you need to like rune up some of your other heroes, or like star up some of the other A and S heroes. Like, these are heroes that are acceptable, right? These are heroes that, like, for example, like on my level 70 alt account, like that I might use, right? A are perfectly viable heroes depending on the team that you're using and the runes that you have in your particular setup, right? And then S is just going to be the best heroes you need. If you have these heroes starred and ascended, get these heroes runed up, even if you don't necessarily use them in like your main team, in case you need to start switching up, because like odds are they're going to give some type of buff during this event that's going to change the way some heroes work. So you want to make sure that these heroes you have like equipped and ready to go. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. All right, as always, we are just going to go in order from A to Z. Let's just knock this out. Abigail is going to be F. Creel, FFF. I might not even say some of the names. I'm just going to go, and I want to make this faster than my normal tier lists that are like 30, 40, 45 minutes long, okay? I just want to go quick. I'm not going to go into heroes if I don't need to. For certain heroes, I'll describe, you know, what you can do with them as I'm going along, but I'm going to try and get this moving, okay? Agnon has been a staple hero. He's an S tier hero if you have his epic, and if you can, like, if you have him decked out with enablers and you've got a team that works with him, right? He's really good on defense, and on offense, he's still good. He's not quite as good, I feel, as before, but he's still very, very viable. Alrakis is probably going to be, if I would have made an S+, that would have been an S+ hero. We are just going to move along here. Archon is going to be an amazing hero. Archon can do his S3 if you have Festives on him so he can blow up. That's going to be one of the fastest teams you can possibly have. It's going to be like Archon with what's his name? Maybe like Zulkod, Malice. You've also got people running Archon with Dagon, Serenity, and Astrid. That's probably going to be one of the main teams you're going to see because it's super, super fast if you have it runed and set up correctly. Arya is decent. Like, people are going to be running, I believe, people are going to be running rogue teams because rogue teams, even though fast heroes got a little bit of a nerf, they're still very, very fast in terms of, like, wiping out teams that you can wipe out. Because remember, the streaks don't matter in a Grand Guild Tourney, so you just want to be getting as fast as possible, right? So Arya is good to have on an assassin team. Augustus is garbage. Balog is garbage. I'm gonna put Black Diamond here. Black Diamond is gonna work with this assassin team if you're running Arya and Serenity, but like, she herself, even though she works well on that team and she makes that team work very well, she's not that great of a hero, so just keep that in mind. Bovis, here we go. All right, so Craw might be very important for this Grand Guild Tourney. Craw, since his update, in my opinion, still isn't like that amazing, but one thing he does do is makes it so that you can have a one-size-fits-all team. So what I mean by that is his ability to give you 3 stacks of foresight makes it so that you don't have to waste slots on foresights for any of your other heroes. You can have him there. You can have another like ultra team setup with like Dagon or something like that, right? Or Archon or what have you, right? And you can have Craw there so that you can just keep the same team over and over and over and over and over again for every single match, and you don't need to like be switching around heroes. This will make sure that like you know that you're mitigating things like Jhin or like Serenity and what have you. So I think Craw is going to be very, very good. We might see him a lot this Grand Guild Tourney. I don't know that I'll be using him. I haven't decided yet though. Crucible, pretty garbage. I do think that Cruel King Bramble might be used quite a bit only because I think Miko attack teams are going to be very, very fast. I won't be using Miko myself because I don't think he's very efficient in my opinion. Even though he's fast, I do think he's going to get beat by a lot of teams, but again, that remains to be seen. I don't know what buffs are going to be out, and you know, I could be wrong about these teams depending on what they end up buffing throughout. Darius is okay still. Dwarves are I mean, they're okay, right? Obviously Dagon and Valken top tier, right? But some of the other dwarves not so much. I'd say Deadeye is not very good, but like if you have to use him, he's usable. Obviously, I said Deadeye, right? I think. I don't know. Obviously, Dagon is going to be Ultra S tier, one of the best heroes in the game. I'd say probably still top 3 heroes in the entire game. Our boy here is going to be F. Ella's okay. Just the problem with Ella is that she has to be in a very, very particular team. I don't know that she's like viable enough to be running a fast team, but she could be like in a fun team if like you really need to use demons, but I wouldn't like recommend focusing on her. I'm gonna put her here. She does a crap load of damage if you can get her attack off. So like if she's with somebody like Craw or something, she's not getting silenced, and then she doesn't get killed by like a fast Dagon or something, I guess stacked with some attack and some what's it called, tainted runes, she could be okay. But like I wouldn't, again, like not my first pick, but definitely not my last pick. Emily. Zulkod is still pretty much S tier. Again, he's not super fast. His team that works with him in Malice and like Shade, like it's not super fast, but it's still a usable team that can be consistent. I think Zulkod teams are still pretty consistent, just not super, super fast. So I don't know that you'll be seeing a lot of them, but hey, we'll see. Furno, I'm going to put at B. I think Furno's still decent if you need to run all dragons and you don't have the rest. I know a lot of people like at lower 70s, high 60s, even some at like 80 that just don't have super developed rosters have been running Furno in place of like, you know, like a decked out Agnon or like a decked out Serenity or something like that. He can still work with dragons like I had in some of my previous dragon videos. Theron, I'm actually going to be using for my lower level account. Theron still kind of claps, boys and girls. He still kind of claps the cheeks sometimes. The thing about Theron is that he does a lot of damage. He does like crap loads of damage. His S3 is really, really good. You put him on a team with Dagon and Valken, he's going to shred. The problem is he's really susceptible to everything. He's squishy, he can be silenced, he can kind of get dunked on. So I'd say at level 80, probably not. But for some of you lower level players, he might still clap quite a bit. I'm going to be alternating him with Craw on the team. And if you watch my streams in the next couple days, which I highly recommend you do, make sure that you subscribe and hit that little notification button down there so you can see when I go live. I'm going to be doing a lot of rating on both my level 80 and my level 70 account so you can see the differences in how I'm running. I'm going to do multi-stream. Wait, hold on. What was I trying to say there? I'm going to be doing multi-account rating. You guys will see. It'll be cool. I hope you guys tune in. Krex is still awful. Gortusk, I think, is okay. I mean, like, look, Gortusk isn't awful. But just like I say in my other tier list videos, he's not good. I'd say for this particular guild games, I'd say probably don't use him if you don't need to. But like, I guess you could if you needed to. Why is this like giving me this like, what's going on here? Why is it, like, I know it's spelled wrong. Get out of here. How do I add to dictionary? There we go. Let's add Grog to F. I'd say don't focus on him. I do think, look, Thrax is not that great, in my opinion. He's okay. He's not bad. But like in terms of how he works and synergizes with Doughboy here, like on defense, they work very, very well together. Additionally, one great thing about Doughboy is that if you bring him on your attack team, he kind of serves the same purpose as Craw, where you can have like a one-size-fits-all team because you're mitigating a lot of damage. You're mitigating things like follow-up attacks from Nivius, who's going to be really, really prevalent on defense. So I do think in terms of this Grand Guild Tourney, I do think that Doughboy is going to be definitely an S-rank hero. Hagrim serves the same type of function as Theron. I'd say Hagrim is probably somebody that if you don't need to, it's probably going to be here. I mean, honestly, like I'd probably forget about him for this Grand Guild Tourney, but you know, he is a fast hero that can, in theory, put out a lot of damage. So I'll leave that one up to you. I'll put, man, you know, it's a love-hate relationship with Bone Boy Jr. here. He's okay. If you put the Long John Suke skin on him, like, he's okay, but like for upper level, anything past level 70, he's going to be pretty useless, right? So I'm going to put him right now in F. He's not fast. He doesn't work against any of the current metas. So if you don't have to, I'm going to say forget about him. Valken, I think, is going to be very, very important for this guild games. I think a lot of people are going to be running him because of the added damage that he'll add to Dagon, along with just being a pretty good hero in his own right. That said, I'm going to put him back down in A because like there's better teams than the teams that use him, right? He's really good. He can do a lot of help. But honestly, like a lot of the Dagon teams that would benefit from him have better in slots than Valken. So I'm going to put him at A. Just keep in mind that you'll probably end up seeing him quite a bit during this Grand Guild Tourney. Hopper's okay. Hopper's not bad, but I will say where he's gonna shine is probably more so on defense. He'll like try and mitigate a lot of the offensive Nivius teams. He could help on offense as well, I guess. If you're encountering Nivius after Nivius after Nivius, like you might want to be running him. I'd say that like I don't know that I would sacrifice one of my slots to put him into. But again, like the name of the game on offense during a Grand Guild Tourney is having a one-size-fits-all team, right? So I wouldn't bring him on a one-size-fits-all team. I'd bring him situationally, which is going to slow you down in rating. Ice Bloom is not useful at all during a Grand Guild Tourney. Neither is Ice Pick. Neither are any of these people that I'm about to move into here. None of these people are going to be helpful during a Grand Guild Tourney. Iris is not going to be helpful during a Grand Guild Tourney. She's okay, but she serves no purpose in terms of like having a speedy attack team. Jab, Mr. Jab is going to be, you know, S+ no matter what this tier list is. Jib is going to be F- no matter what this tier list is. Unless the tier list was like S rank is like top 10 most garbage heroes, then Jib will probably take S rank every time. So Jin is very interesting. Okay, Jin Lei, I still think is more so like an A hero, but I think probably during this Grand Guild Tourney, you're going to see him a lot. I think you're going to see him a lot on defense with Thrax, because I think that defensive team kind of thrashes. But you might also see him a lot on offense because, again, name of the game is speed. He works really, really well with Dagon with follow-up attacks, so he might be doing follow-up attacks with Dagon teams. The problem is there are a lot of defensive teams that are going to be using Grandor and stopping any type of follow-up attacks. So we will see. I'm going to put him at A, right, even as a hero and in Grand Guild Tourney. I might end up using him. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to decide over the next day or so. I might change my mind in my own head. I might change my mind and make him an S rank, but for now I'm putting him safely at A. Monkey Boy is gonna don't bother using him. Shrek is gonna be he's okay. I'm gonna put him probably at B now that I think about it, because I think he probably could be usable with Thrax, but again, I'm talking defense. In terms of offense, you don't want slow teams. So Thrax teams on offense are really going to be subpar. So realistically, I don't know. I might change my mind. I don't obviously decide where these guys are all going to go before I make these videos. I just do this right off the cuff, right? So I'm going to actually probably move him back down to F, because even on defense, I don't think he's good enough to... Oh, God, this is going to be hard. You know what? Defense, you might... Right now, one thing you're going to notice, okay, those of you that have made it this far in the video, one thing you're going to notice, if you go look at the Boss 100, if you go look at the defensive scores of even the top players, everybody's getting wrecked on defense, right? Right now, offensive teams are way too powerful to get beaten by defenses, no matter how good your defense is. You might catch somebody off guard every now and then, but for the most part, your defense is going to get smashed. So that's obviously not going to change during Grand Guild Tourney, but what you can do is try and make your defense take so long that you're actually hurting the opponent by making them take forever to beat your defense. And in that particular instance, he might be okay if you're using him on a Thrax team that's just meant to just stall an attacker for as long as possible. So I'm going to put him back into B for now, tentatively, in that specific use case for Grand Guild Tourney. If this was a normal tier list, I'd still put him in a C rank, B or C rank. I would not recommend using him. Kai Makani is, for Grand Guild Tourney, I'm going to put him at lowest tier. Blue Lily, we're going to put at, I guess, B. I guess she's okay. She's fast. She can do a stall defense, I guess. On offense, she's pretty useless. I wouldn't, if you can avoid it, I would not focus on her, but she's not as bad as any of these heroes down here. So if you have been focusing on her, I guess you can use her. She can provide a consistent attack team, but not a fast one. So I would recommend just steering clear of her. All these heroes I'm putting down here, even Kozar, even on a Thrax team, Kozar's pretty lackluster. If you're running Thrax, I'd much rather you run somebody like Jin or even Shrek over Kozar. He just doesn't do enough damage anymore. He kind of needs a little bit of a rework to make him a little bit more deadly, but for now I'm going to put him in the don't really bother. Leo's great, but again, in terms of a Grand Guild Tourney, I'm going to put him in B, because if you need to use him with a Solaris team, you're going to be extremely consistent. You're going to win a lot of your matches, but he's going to be slow. So that's, oops, I hit my mic. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend him on offense, and on defense, he just does not work very well at all. He's way easy to mitigate when he's on defense, so I wouldn't use him at all on defense. I would use him if you don't have a super developed roster and you've got him and Solaris and a couple other strong heroes, and you just want to be able to outlast and win matches consistently, and you're not going for a lot of speed, then go ahead and use him. But he's not going to be I'm not going to recommend him. Lily, I'm not going to recommend for the exact same reason. She's fine. She works. She can help you win a lot of matches. She can be somewhat consistent, not so much anymore with chaos damage. We're talking at like lower 70s, high 60 level teams. But like, again, your matches are going to take so long that it's not even worth the consistency most of the time. Lorelei is an absolute S rank hero still. She's going to be probably one of the most, if not the most used heroes in this Grand Guild Tourney, because she just provides so much extra for all of your teams. She's going to be on every defense team, or almost every defense team probably. She's going to be on most of the attack teams, because even the fast attack teams can benefit from having her, because she can defend your team from dying like immediately right off the bat, right when you start your match. You know, like she can help mitigate like a high attack Miko or a high attack Dagon or something like that. So anyways, obviously I do think she's absolutely an S rank hero. I'm gonna put what is this hero's name even? Lumen? I don't know. Don't use him if you don't need to. Like, yeah, sure, he can work on a defense team if you have a light team that you're trying to make a stall team, but like I'd say, like, if you don't need to, don't bother. Lupina, just forget she exists. Malice, I'm gonna say Malice is a pretty decent hero in all regards, but I think additionally on defense she can help a lot on like a Dagon team, and it can catch people off guard because they forget that when Dagon kills somebody, it'll reduce everybody's energy. So like sometimes people get caught off guard when a Dagon will kill some of their team. They don't really care because they're like, oh, that's fine, I get to go because I've got my Miko or my Dagon or whatever. And then they're like, oh crap, I can't use my special because Malice reduced my my energy. So I do think she can be useful on defense, and on offense the same exact reason. You can bring her with you even if she dies, since she's kind of squishy. Doesn't matter because you're going to be reducing your opponent's energy by 1, and that might win or lose some games. That said, I don't think she's going to work as well on these one-size-fits-all teams. I wouldn't bring her versus super high attack initial attack teams like Dagon and what have you. So while I do think she's very good and very viable on the right team, I do not think that she's an essential hero like the heroes that are in the S rank right now. We're just going to move right along. I'm not going to bother going through some of these. Yeah, assassins can be used, but MK is just really not one of them that I would use on that team. I would use like BD, Arya, Serenity, and then a +1. I would not use him on that team. Miko is going to be good. I'm going to put him in S tentatively because I know there's going to be a lot of people running him. So I know a lot of people like him. They have him kind of figured out to a point where it's worthwhile. To me, it's still not worthwhile. I don't bother with him just because to me he's inconsistent because he misses a lot. Like, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with Miko. But I do think if somebody's got like a 5 or 6 star Gretel and they've just got a team that's just like amped up and ready for them, or if any of the buffs affect them specifically during this Grand Guild Tourney, then maybe he might be viable. So I'm going to put him in S just because he is really good right now when on a team with Gretel. We're just going to move right along here. Anybody again that I put down into this F in the chat down here is just going to be like, do not bother with them. Niveus is definitely going to be one of the most used heroes in this Grand Guild Tourney. He's already one of the most used heroes in the game anyway, so that's not going to change right now. He's going to be almost on every defense and on a lot of offenses, so prepare to see a lot of Niveus. We go, moving along here. Jelly Boy, Flub. Here we go. So Pontifex, not bad, but definitely not good, and not somebody that I would recommend using in the Grand Guild Tourney. If you have him fully enabled and you're a lower level, like 50 or 60, you could have a fully enabled Pontifex, I guess, and maybe have him just constantly using his epic attack. He does apply disease to the opponent, assuming they don't have any foresights or a crawl or anything like that, which I guess, but like honestly, in terms of like speedy attack teams for Grand Guild Tourney, I would not recommend. Rocky the Shiitake, I would not. Shroom Boy, I would not recommend. Rogar, would not recommend. Selwyn, would not recommend. You could throw him on a defense stall team in his ice form, I guess, but like, it's not worth it in my opinion. Serenity is going to be one of the most used heroes this Grand Guild Tourney for sure. I'd say her, Niveus, Lorelei, and Dagon and Alrakis, out of the ones that are in S tier, are probably going to be like the most used heroes in this Grand Guild Tourney. But like, I guess we'll see. But if I had to guess, those would be the most used heroes this Grand Guild Tourney. Shade, I think, is going to be used a lot this Grand Guild Tourney. I've been hearing through the grapevine that there have been some builds found with him that are halfway decent, so maybe we'll see him, maybe we won't. I don't think he's a bad hero. I think he's definitely okay to use, especially during a Grand Guild Tourney where he can provide Shroud, I guess, so like, maybe, we'll see. Shadowblade is an assassin, but he is not good enough to be on the assassin team, in my opinion, unless you absolutely need him to be. Astrid, you will probably see a fair amount. Astrid works really, really well in the Archon Go Boom Boom team, so you'll probably see her quite a bit. I don't think Astrid herself is that great, but she can take up a lot of damage. She can soak up, a lot of damage if you have her at like 35,000 defense. She can, like, she provides a buff to any of your caster heroes, so she's like, she's okay, right? You'll probably see her a lot, which is why I'm going to put her in A, and she works really, really well with the Archon, Dagon, Serenity, and Astrid team. Sifu, you're not going to see very much at all. Solaris, you'll probably see a fair amount, but probably not that much unless you're at lower than, you know, top level 80. You'll probably see her a bit on offense teams in lower 70s or high 60s. Spitfire is, you know, awful. Moving along. Sun Wukong's great. I love Sun Wukong. I have a lot of fun with him, but his teams, while they are effective and consistent, they're not super fast. Like, as you guys saw, I streamed with him like 2 weeks in a row. I really had a lot of fun playing with him. A lot more fun than I expected to, but I don't think he's going to be like one of the main heroes, but I wouldn't discount him. I think he's very, very good. And if you have him and you're having trouble and you just want a more consistent team, running him with something like Solaris, and like, what was I running him? I think I was running Lorelei, Solaris, him, and like Alrakis, for example, and it was working really, really, really well, really consistently. But again, it's just not very fast. But I do think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. Sibyl's been killing it, especially on defense. You run Sibyl with Alrakis and a bunch of tainted runes, and he's been slaughtering. So I definitely think that you're probably going to see a lot of him on defense. This Grand Guild Tourney. He's just overall just a really, really great hero. Moving right along here. If you have questions about this, you can put them in the comments. But again, just trust me. Please just trust me. Even if you're lower level, these people that are in the bottom F tier, like, you could be level 20, and these heroes are not heroes that you should be focusing on at all. Just forget they exist, right? But especially for a Grand Guild Tourney, these are all useless heroes. So sorry if that makes some of you you know, crybabies a little bit mad. Not all of you. I'm saying the people that get mad when I talk about. I'll probably cut that part out. Viperia is okay. Here we go. Yan Luo is okay. Again, not worth using in my opinion, but he might be okay with Thrax, so I guess we will see. Moving right along. I think that Zen is not very great. Unfortunately, once they took away that super special one festive gives you max energy rune, once they fixed that, it made Zen back to like not that usable anymore. But as you will see if you watch my upcoming streams, I am using him on my lower level account, and I'm actually kind of killing with him. So using him with Craw and like Valken and a high attack fourth is like actually pretty decent, but it's not going to cut it in the like upper echelon. If you're level 80, high roster power, and you're going against the hardest defenses that exist, then he's not going to be usable. But for lower levels, I highly recommend you watch my upcoming stream, because those of you that are lower 70 or high 60, like, you might crush with them, right? So hopefully you tune in and you see what I'm talking about here. Moving right along. Again, I know a lot of you really like Zom, but the name of the game in a Grand Guild Tourney is speed. Specifically a Grand Guild Tourney, he's not usable. Don't use him. You can maybe use him on defense if you're low 70s, high 60s, 50s, whatever. If you just want to stall an opponent, I guess. But any opponent that brings like an Alrakis or whatever is just going to like make him basically pointless. I guess you could run him with like a Thrax and see if you can make a slow team based around him. But I don't know. Best of luck to you. I just wouldn't recommend it at all. We're going to be looking at Zerk. Okay, so Gretel, I don't think Gretel's bad, but I don't think she's going to be that great. We will see. I have not seen her become very relevant after those buffs went away. So as those of you that watched not only my recap video, but like the streams I did with her, I mentioned multiple times that I was really curious to see what would happen after the buffs went away. And after the buffs went away that were during her calendar event, I saw a massive drop off in the amount of people that were using her. Like barely anybody's using her. That said, again, we don't know what buffs are going to be for this Grand Guild Tourney, so we will see, right? But I will not be using her, and I don't recommend. I can't give my personal recommendation to use her unless you just have something totally figured out for her, or unless, like, I don't know, she's one of your only maxed out heroes. Maybe you just started playing and you got her like maxed out right away. I don't know, but like, again, that's all I'll say about that. Thrax, look, I don't love Thrax. I've made that very clear. I don't have fun playing with him. I don't think he's a fun hero. I think he made the game a lot slower, which I guess is fine if it was too fast before. But that said, I will say that for a Grand Guild Tourney, normally he would be useless. However, he does make certain defenses way harder to beat in terms of in a speedy fashion. Right, so if I'm an attacker, I'm going to hate seeing a Thrax on defense because I know that odds are, unless I wipe him out immediately, that the match is going to take longer than I want it to, and that's not good ultimately for me as an attacker trying to do speedy raids during a Grand Guild Tourney. So, to recap, Thrax will be good because if you use him on defense, he's going to slow other people down, which is why I'm putting him at A. Right, normally I think even in a normal tier list I'd probably put him at an A or A- or B+, because again I don't think he's very good, but I do think he helps his team out other slow heroes and like slowing down the opponent's attack strategy. So here you go. Here's everybody. As always, I will try and save this as an image, upload it for you guys. Please, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. I love comments, even if it's just to say, like, cool video, dude. I don't know, man. Like, whatever you want. Please, if you enjoy stuff like this, I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming on Dungeon Boss this week during the Grand Guild Tourney, and I'm going to be using my alt account, so you'll be able to see, like, a lower level account. Hit that next to the notification button, there's a... next to the subscribe button, there's a notification button. Make sure that you select all on that so you can see when I go live. And to those of you, there's like 3 or 4 like bootlickers that are in the Dungeon Boss Discord that were like really upset that I made a video trying to tell Dungeon Boss what they can do better. And look, like, first of all, bite me, right? But also, like, listen, just to clarify, that last video, the reason I made it is because I enjoy the game and I want it to continue to get better. And I have played this game for a very long time, so I can distinctly remember when people were liked it the most, when people liked it the least, and what type of stuff like really made the game like a fun, enjoyable experience, right? And because I've always had a guild, and I've always had a rather large guild, right? I've seen a lot of feedback from all level of player, high level players, low level players. Like I've seen what people say, right? And when I have multiple people quitting over the last few months because they cannot keep up with A, the stamina drain from those events, and B, they're just bored out of their minds, right? Or like high level players that can keep up with it, but they're like, why do I just keep dumping money into just doing a quick loot event, right? What I want to tell you is, like, you going in the Discord and telling the devs, no, everything you're doing is perfectly fine, man. It's totally great. You guys are amazing, and people are just complaining and being like toxic and whatever. Don't worry about them. You're not helping anything. You don't look good. I'm assuming that you're the same 3 or 4 people that always dislike my video, so this probably isn't going to matter to you. But for the rest of you that sometimes see stuff like that, like, that doesn't help. Telling them that everything is great doesn't help, right? It's just like with a friend. If they're doing something wrong and you want to be like an intervention, like just telling them that everything's great and they can just keep doing what they're doing doesn't help anything. Sometimes you need to tell people when they're messing up and when they're not doing a good thing so they can fix it. And if I didn't give a shit and I didn't want things to get better, I wouldn't say anything, right? And if I didn't think that other people thought the same way, then I probably also wouldn't have said anything. Like that's the first video I've made like that ever, right? But the amount of feedback I was getting was overwhelmingly A, positive about the video, and B, like before I made the video, the amount of feedback I was getting was like very much like, man, I can't do another one of these quick loot events. Like if there's another quick loot event, I'm done. So again, I am very happy they did this event. I'm a little sad that they gave us 4 days of notice. You know, that's never great. But I am happy that hopefully this is not a one-off thing, and it does mean that they are moving in the right direction. Anyways, it was great seeing you guys. I hope to see you guys later at my streams today and tomorrow. I will catch you guys next time.